Kembo. Kembo natatanzambi yama abangoni abantu yamazulu. Um Wanted to do this video. Feel like it's kind of overdue. About my talk. Title of this video is called My Talk with a White Supremacist. Dun dun dun. Yeah. I've mentioned this a couple times. I made a couple posts, but I haven't told you guys the story. So I wanted to share the story. Little preface to all this. If you don't know, I'm from California. I moved my family to Idaho. It's been a couple years, I think, now. And as far as my overall experience out here, it's been awesome. But I've also had the weirdest conversations I've ever had with people. And the most interesting conversations. And I have dealt with racism on a different everyday level. So it's been if you haven't seen my last video, I will go on YouTube and watch it. I posted it a couple posts back. But it's a topic that that is more than a topic. It's important because it's not just a talking point. It's actually a lifetime experience if you're somebody with my skin tone. So yeah. So Idaho has been great because for me, and because it's more of like, what you work for, you can actually get here. Like what I moved out here, got a job, and the jobs that I've gotten have actually sustained life and my family, so I'm able to have goals and set goals and achieve those goals and accomplish those goals out here. Get out of debt, pay off some things, and all that. And also I love the concealed carry. So I got my wife a piece and I got myself a piece. I could buy guns and ammo and all that stuff. So it's been pretty dope. Just like the freedom that is out here. But on the flip side, and I met some very good people here. I don't want to like make it seem like every person that I've met out here has like been racist. So I've met some really good people out here, and it's been really chill out here, honestly. And so, but yeah. So on the flip side, I have had crazy experiences with white people. Crazy, like fake stuff that is like fake stuff that just is like, dang, like I didn't know it was like here, here, up here in the north. And so anyway, so yeah, I made a list on my kitchen board here, groceries and stuff we need, but wanted to make a list so I could try to stay on topic and hit all the points that I want to hit. Oh. So I'll try to get these points and stay on topic. And so here we go. My conversation with a white supremacist. Now, this guy is the guy I mentioned on my last video, young buck, and I was told about him by other white dudes that I work with. Um, and just real quick on that, I I I believe in the ideology that who you are friends with or associated with on a conversation level, personal level, they will influence you. So if you are white and you have white supremacist friends or confidants or whatever, um, I challenge you to not be their friends anymore. Make a stand in your life. If that's hard for you, then I believe that you should check yourself and check with the Most High on how He feels about that, and that. So I'll leave that at that. But I was told by people that I work with that, oh, have you talked to so and so, and or have you seen so and so, whatever, because whenever I'm the kind of person that I'm not shy about who I am. I'm not intimidated by the white society, or by anybody. And so, if people ask me questions, I'll answer them, and I'll answer them, and I'll talk very strong about who I am and all that. So, uh, people in my life, have to be strong in order, to stay in my life, honestly, because I don't really cut corners or try to round things out too much with my conversation. And so and so so this guy uh is a well-known white supremacist. So I assumed that he was going around, and everybody knows because he's preaching it and talking about it all the time. And obviously he feels comfortable because he's in a Republican state, conservative state, where a lot of people share his viewpoints. And they have Coeur d'Alene out here, which is a protected white supremacist zone where no colored people are basically allowed. It's a code. It's an unwritten. It could be written. I don't know, but it's an unwritten code in areas out here in this state that are known for KKK members and militias, white militias, and things like that. So anyway, once I found out who it was, I was like, oh, that guy. And he's tall, just to give you guys a physical, description. He's taller, looks like an all-American white guy. And he loves Trump. And the thing that's weird to me, I'll just say this, it was always weird for me to talk and engage with Trump supporters because I kind of got gay vibes off of Trump supporters, and I'm being dead serious. Because I never knew grown ass men who are all about guns and macho men, women is beneath me kind of men, be so gung ho over a man. It was the weirdest thing to me. There are good things about Trump. There are way more bad things about Trump than there was good. That's on every level, politically, morally, as a man, as a human. So it was always strange for me to be like, why are you guys like on this guy so much? Like, this is the weirdest thing ever. So anyway, my first interaction with him was at work. He didn't say any racist stuff, but I was on lunch and we were at a job, and he was going off about how great Trump was. I mean, look at this guy. He's tall. He's he gets all the hoes. This guy. Da, da, da. So I was just like, okay, he's rich. He's just the American man, and it was just like, all right, okay, whatever. So fast forward now. Now, we're at the bar. Sometimes after work, I'll go, or every other Friday or whatever, payday Fridays. Uh, I will go and have a beer with my coworkers, And let me remind you guys, I'm the only black guy in this company. And there's been other black dudes who's worked there apparently, but they all quit. Gee, I wonder why. But so anyway, uh, for some reason that day he wanted to talk to me and ask me questions. So I assumed he must have been hearing about me through other people. And of course, me walking in that place every day, I'm like, everybody's looking at me. Most people say hi to me, what's up to me, because I'm a cool guy. Shit, I'm a cool dude. And I don't give people a reason to not like me. You know, if people don't like me, they just don't like me. But I don't just go out of my way to give people reasons to not like me or want to know who I am. You know, I genuinely care about humans and people, and you know, that's just how I am. That's how I was created. So pretty inviting, you know, and even with hard conversations, I'm inviting to people. Like, I don't shut down hard conversations. I actually enjoy when people ask me questions, especially white people, because uh, I see the shift in the cosmic energy, you know. So I don't want to get too deep on that, but anyway, I don't shy from hard topics and conversations with anybody. Now, in this conversation, sorry, that was like 11-minute intro basically. In this conversation, he comes up to me, you know, it's like, "What's up, man? What's up?" Nothing, you know. Um, he just starts asking me weird, random questions. He's like, I forget how he started the conversation, but very soon and quickly into the conversation, he started talking about, you know, oh, you probably believe like the people of the Bible were black, huh? And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's not really a belief. It's just that's what they were, you know? And he was like, oh, okay. He's like, you're probably one of those Hebrew Israelites, aren't you? And so I was like, whoa, like, we're in Idaho. What the hell does this white guy know about Hebrew Israelites, and why is he asking me if I am a Hebrew Israelite when he's talked to no black people, obviously. So I was like, that's when my guard went up. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to approach this conversation in A B C D E F G kind of way. You know, this isn't no light topic, you know, conversation, you know, having a beer. This is about to go somewhere very quick, and he wants to take it there. So I'm gonna show this guy who I am without showing him who I am, you know? And so I was like, no, I'm not a Hebrew Israelite, but I know that the people in the Bible were black because there's scriptures that, you know, obviously point to that. And then he was like, well, he just wanted to say stuff, so I let him talk. He's like, oh, well, you know, it says that they turned red, and, you know, who turns red? It's white people, and white people turn red, and all these things. And I was just like, bruh, let me stop you right there. The red is actually the word for Adam, and I just said this in another video, but the word for Adam is actually red like the dirt. So Google red dirt or like a red cow or something. And he was like, that shut it down. He didn't talk about the Bible anymore after that. It was like, it's almost like he's like, okay, this guy knows a little more than what I've been feeling about him, because I don't put off that I'm some like super spiritual deep guy, you know. um I'm just chill, you know, always cracking jokes or whatever, making fun of people and whatnot. And so then we start talking about other black stuff. And so yeah, he made the Hebrew Israelite comment. Now I'm not gonna go over everything he talked about, but hit certain points. So we start talking about uh basically white supremacist ideologies and his view on what white supremacy is, basically. And so I was just like, okay, well, you know, we start talking about, he brings up Malcolm X. And he was like, you like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, da da da. I was like, yeah, like, especially Malcolm X, he's like one of my heroes. Like, he's like, yeah, he was actually like, I don't have a problem with him. You know, he talked about segregation, and I agree with, you know, Malcolm X had this, apparently he had like this white guy that Malcolm X didn't have a problem with, and the white guy was a white supremacist, something. And so he said that Malcolm X, you know, worked with white supremacists somehow, because they agreed on segregation. And I was like, yeah, yeah, in the sense that, on the topic of segregation, segregation isn't a bad thing, because us as blacks here in America, we haven't been able to establish ourselves on this land as a people yet. And so, for in order for that to happen, segregation would be, or would have been, a great thing. Because what happened is we came into your guys' stuff and cried and begged for a part of your piece of the pie. So I don't mind segregation, and and those things. So we agreed on that. So what we didn't agree on was how it really doesn't matter that much anymore as far as like relationships goes. Because I told him, I was like, well, you know, I have a white wife. My wife isn't black, and we've been together for 10 years. And he was like, oh, a lot of what Hebrew Israelites do. It's like, oh my gosh. And I was like, and he was like, well, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you want your own race? And da da da. So he's trying to come at me with that angle, like I have something against my own race because I'm with somebody outside of my own race. And so I said, well, this is how it works. I didn't bring God into it or anything like that, because he's not a spiritual guy. So what I said was, we met, we fell in love. And when two people meet and they fall in love, they decide to live a life together and eventually have children. So that's what we did, and that's what happened. In that sense, it's not about black and white and staying with your own race. It's just simply uh, who you saw fit for your life, and you guys agreed that you fit together, and you live your life in love with each other the rest of your life. And so that's how I gave it to him. And at that point I was a little offended, but I try not to speak out of emotion when I'm talking to people like this, because that's what they want. They want an emotional rise out of you, because once they attach something to an emotion, you're pretty much finished, and the conversation is just going to be I told you so's and pointing fingers. So, I just left it simply at, we fell in love, and that was it. So then we talked about that, Malcolm X, politics. Another thing was, and that falls into that, oh, they're taking our women, that falls into that whole thing. The false black narratives and talking points. So, one of the things that was interesting was, I mean, not interesting, but interesting to hear, was his false black narrative understanding. So I can tell when I was talking to him, he was thinking like, man, this is a smart black guy, I'm not going to be able to get over on him, kind of thing. And so I was killing a lot of the false narratives. Now, this guy, to me, is obviously taught by older white supremacists who have given him the game, who have literally studied us. And that's one big point I want to hit, is that we are being studied, and we have been studied by these white supremacists. So it's important for us to do the same thing. Now, in my life, I grew up around white people everywhere. My best friend, I used to go to his house. I used to love kicking out of his house. So I've seen white culture my whole life. But the difference with me and a lot of other black people who've experienced the same thing, I didn't become white or want to be involved in white culture for the most part. I live in America, obviously, so this is American culture somewhat, but I never had a desire to like sacrifice who I am as who the Most High made me, to fall into another culture. Even going to churches and white churches, and where I didn't see a lot of black people, or especially black people in leadership. Once the white pastors or white leaders would want me to do something that was very something of my culture, is when I say, all right, peace, I'm out. And so that's just been innate in me. And so when I get around these white supremacists and I'm here in Idaho around white people, um, I can tell the shock from them because I'm very well accepted here. But it's not because I succumb to whiteness, if that makes sense. It's just that's just not, yeah. So I'll leave that there. But so I can tell these his wheels are turning. Like, man, who is this guy? Like, he thought he was gonna come in and just have these talking points and then boom, 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 but he got shocked that day. So the ideas that these white supremacists have on black people is that, for one, we don't read, we don't know, so they can just say whatever they want, sound smart, and kind of trap us in these corners. So in this conversation, he was never able to trap me in a corner, and trap me in a place to where he could actually check off a label of what he thought he knew about black people and black men. I actually shattered and killed all those things. So all those, black people don't read. Black people aren't really smart. They don't really care about politics. They don't really care about da 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 da. They're lazy. All these things I murder. And so yeah, so it was a surprise to him on how smart I was. And so I want black people to actually keep gaining knowledge, but not just on ourselves, also on our enemies. On our enemies. Our enemies are not just white supremacists. That's our biggest enemy. It's been our biggest enemy ever since they came down, and the Romans and all that stuff, and they tried the Greeks, and they tried to and they took over Africa and whatnot and whatever. So we need to understand our enemy. The thing is, I have a great understanding of my enemy, who is my enemy, what my enemy looks like, smells like, talks like, on all levels. And so I'm able to have conversations and have an emotionalist response to trigger words and trigger topics in conversations. And that's important because we have a narrative out here where we are so mad and emotional that we don't know how to differentiate the two. I was, eventually we sat down, at the table, and we're drinking beer, talking these hard talking points. And it wasn't because I was trying to nigga explain to him. I wasn't trying to explain, well, no, it's just how we are. No, I wasn't doing any of that. I was coming very Malcolm X and very direct and very matter of fact to him, and very above him, teaching him something. But also, it wasn't making him get aggressive, and that's one thing I want to touch on too. These white supremacist dudes, especially, they're cowards. They're scared of black people. They're cowards. They always need to team up on one of us. I'm very aware of my strength and who I am, so I speak out of that. I'm very aware of who I am as royalty, so that's how I speak. So when white supremacist people or people with white supremacist ideologies, when they talk to me, that's what they feel like. And they're not used to that feeling of being spoken to from a place of authority, wisdom, knowledge, and control and stability by a black person. And so I always want to represent ourselves well. And that's how I approach the situation when I talk to these white supremacists. And also, I'm in a place where I don't have 20 of my niggas that'll just, come up around me and protect me if something wants to pop off. So I have to know when to attack, when to not attack. I have to use wisdom on how to structure myself, how to walk around this place, And that's another thing why it's important to conceal if you can, especially in a state where you can. So I make sure I take full advantage of that, if you know what I mean. So it's a part of that false confidence that they have. Um, but they really don't want the smoke. They really don't. We see that with the race soldiers, the police, aka the police. They don't want smoke. The other day I watched this video. I think it was like from a year or two ago, where these dudes were in L.A. and these cops were trying to do some shady stuff to this black brother. 20 dudes wound up coming. I think it was in Compton. I might post the video later. But these dudes walk up and are telling the cop, "Yo, y'all need to get out of here. You know, why you scared? Why you want to act like you threatened? Then go home then." And so the cops wound up backing up and leaving the place. So that's how we have to be. We have to know who we are. We have to walk in confidence, and that's how we speak from. So I don't walk around here crying about black people need this and black people need that. Nobody's gonna hear me. Nobody cares. They're comfortable in their white supremacist ways. They have white friends who will claim that they're not white supremacists, but will make them feel comfortable in the white supremacist ways. So I know these things. I know their thoughts. I can. So I'm very aware and I'm very careful at the same time, and I'm very observant and very smart and very wise, and using the knowledge that I have. I didn't need to go into a debate with this guy. I didn't need to prove anything to him. I just needed him to know that he doesn't know the things that he thinks he knows. He doesn't know a damn thing about me or my people. He actually doesn't know anything. We're more than entertainers. We're more than entertainment. And so, even though I can joke around with these dudes and make them laugh and all these things, I also know what they think my place is, and I know my actual place on this earth. So, let's see if I hit anything. Probably one of the most important things about this conversation was, okay, thank you, Mwanda. So in the conversation, he kept changing points. So it was funny. He said we had a common enemy, which was the Jew. And, the Jews are evil and all this stuff and all these things, a very German way of coming at it. And so I was like, hey, we have a lot of enemies as far as black people. So, sure, but at the same time, it's not just about them. It's about you guys. So imagine I'm at a bar full of white folks, and I'm telling him that he is our enemy and all these things. And so then once I saw that he was losing control of the conversation and was still trying to control it, then I started controlling the conversation. And so I told him, I was like, yeah, you guys are scared, because you guys are going to be extinct or minorities in a couple years, in the year 2040. So that's why you're coming at me like this, because, and that's why your people and your dudes are like this. I was like, and so, you guys actually don't want to be the minority. And he was like, well, yeah, we're going to be the minority in 2040. And, da 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 da. And da 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 da. And I was like, yo, I don't mind you. And my wife had called me, so I'm talking to her. I'm like, hey, yeah, I'm talking to a white supremacist dude right now. And he was just like, so he knows he's a white supremacist and everything. So I was like, I don't mind people being for their people, but, and I asked him this, I was like, but with all the minority groups, and black people apparently only make up 12.5%, 13% of the United States population, why are we your main threat? Like, why do you guys target us as a threat? Not Mexicans, who are everywhere in Idaho. You guys actually allow them in your homes. You marry them. You have kids with them. Not Mexicans, not Asians, not Indians. Why us? Why is it just us? if we're such a small percentage of the population and our, GDP is what they say, like a trillion or something, I don't remember. So why are we your threat? If you guys are so tough and all these things, why do you feel like I'm a threat to you? When there's been nothing in history that says I'm a threat to you, as far as, things we didn't start a war with them or anything, like even in the United States, we're defending ourselves and we fought back, but why us? And so that's when the conversation stopped. That's when he was like, so I was like, yeah, you think about that, Mr. White Supremacist, who's so smart and so young and fiery. Think about that. Take that back with your KKK boys. So yeah, that ended the conversation. Literally, that ended the conversation. I stumped him with that, and you know, so that was my conversation with the white supremacist in a nutshell. And like I always say, excuse me, I always want to inspire my people to not be scared, for one, of being who you are, not be intimidated, but be smart at the same time. Be level-headed, be cool. Um, Listen to Malcolm X. Listen to I've listened to a couple Marcus Garveys. Um, Listen to real black voices, not real political black voices. Unless you're just doing research and you want to know what people are saying and what they're saying. But as far as inspiration and encouragement and a backbone, listen to these leaders who America has deemed as who America has demonized. So and yeah, and so yeah, that was my conversation with the white supremacist, and that's how it went. And I mean, ever since then, it's whatever, I see him in the yard. It's like, hey, what's up, man? He'd be like, hey, what's up, man? So I know I'm in a war. I know it's not time to fight yet. I know that we're in a war. I know that there's some things we need to get together as far as a people, and we have to be smart. We have to continue to stay in prayer for especially us leaders. If the Mwanda has been speaking to you about who you are, believe it, and learn how to walk that out. Learn how to walk your blackness out with pride and power, wisdom, and courage. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't fear these white supremacists because they just blow smoke. They really don't want it. I've had conversations with I can't man. It will be all day of me doing these videos to tell you how many conversations I've had since I've been here. So just don't be afraid because they're projecting their fear on you is what it really is, because we're not naturally a fearful people. So once you are confident in what you're saying, they back off. They don't want to talk anymore. The challenge is over because they know how physically stronger you are than them, and they're very aware of your power. They're very aware of your spirituality, but not the nuances of it, like the details of it. And I've mentioned before, like my ancestors, they take care of business for me. I don't have to pray against people. I don't have to, curse people or anything. My ancestors take care of them. So, because I'm walking more and more in who I am in alignment in which the path they want me to walk on. And so you're gonna be protected. You need to find security in the things you can't see and fully understand. Don't let the attacks on our people affect you in a way to where it brings fear. You need to overcome that fear and use it against them. Use it against the white supremacists. Use it against our enemies. Don't let them tell you that you don't have enemies, and don't let politics make it seem like we're all in this together, black, brown, yellow, green, because that's some bullshit. That's not true. We're not all in this together. We never have been in this together. It's never been as far as a collective group of people, uh, people of color against the system. It's never like that. It never will be like that. We need to stop looking for help outside of ourselves, and understand that whoever comes along to help us that is outside of ourselves is a two could be two things: a blessing or a demon in disguise. So have your antennas up all the time. Don't take everything personally, and respond with dignity and royalty. And yeah, so that's that. If you watch the whole video, Motondo Masaka, thank you very much. And thanks for giving me your time and your ear. And I hope this inspires you to go deeper into who you are, but also, like I said earlier, research these people. Um, don't try to. Uh, if you grew up in white neighborhoods, take that understanding of them and use it. They have their own codes, they have their own systems in which they don't allow you in or allow us in fully. And it's okay. Who cares? So